everyone, and welcome back to the Osteophysio YouTube channel. Today we are continuing with our runners series, and we're going to be designing a video specifically for preventing lower back pain when running. So why do we get lower back pain when running? So there's lots of different reasons why different people can experience lower back pain, but some of the most common are when it comes to running, if you've suddenly increased the frequency, duration or intensity, putting more pressure into that lower back can trigger soreness. Number two, if you're predisposed to have a little bit of tightness or stiffness from your past history. So for example, day to day, if your posture or your position is slightly forward and quite static through the body, it's going to put a little bit more pressure into that lower back. The third reason might be localized tightness through there. So if you're doing other activities or other sports or other hobbies that you do day to day that also put a lot of pressure into the lower back, if you're not relaxing or stretching around the lower back into the hips, into the pelvis area, that can make it become really sore when running. So today's video we're going to be looking at movement, stretching and mobility all through the pelvis, lower back and upper back to help with the soreness. First exercise we are starting with today is the cat-cow movement, and this is one of my favourite movements after you've been running, to stretch out into the lower back, into the upper back, as well as improving movement all the way through the spine. So from the neck right the way down into the lumbar region. There's Jam making an appearance in today's video and we want to aim for about 30 seconds. So you're going to be moving through for about 30 seconds and then moving into a side-to-side movement. And the reason why this is so important into that lower back is wanting to stretch up between the ribs and the lower back, so we're thinking about the QL muscles as well as improving that overall mobility through the whole spine. Next we want to look at a child's pose, so this is a great way to stretch and decompress into that lower back. So again, you're going back as far as you feel comfortable, so once you've done the cat-cow you want to hold this stretch for about 15 to 30 seconds and you should really feel it opening up into that lower back. So it's one of my favourite things to do if you've just done a manic and a really crazy run and you're feeling really tired. It's great to add that in after. Next we're going to look at a pigeon stretch. So I've shown 3 variations here. So you can start where the arms are up straight, you can then go down into your forearms, and if you're feeling like you need a bit more of a stretch you can then go down even lower and drop the body right down. So this is really nice for opening up into the hips, but most importantly stretching through the piriformis, the external rotators of the hips, and stretching all around that area. Again, switching sides, we want to balance through both. So the first variation is just the leg in front of you. You'll find one side is a little bit more flexible than the other. Next, going down onto your forearms to stretch into that area, and then continuing that stretch all the way down, so dropping down lower if you can to increase that stretch. So go where's comfortable for you. Don't force that stretch, it's just very gently unwinding and moving through. Next, we want to influence into the hamstrings. Again, this is going to be really impacting the glutes and the lower back if it's particularly tight in your hamstrings. So again, go as far as you feel possible. So I'm showing this in a seated position just to continue on from the last stretch, but of course you can do this standing where you're stretching down towards the feet. Once we've done that, we want to then gently rock back and release into that supine position, laying onto the back, and we want to then move into knee sways side to side into the lower back. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible, a really nice quick flowing routine that you can do after you've been running. Once you're swaying the knees side to side, a lot of people this is going to be too easy, so you want to bring the knees up towards your chest, and again just moving side to side. If you've gone and done a really big run, there's going to be a lot of pressure into the glutes, into the leg muscles, into the lower back, so it's just really nice just to stretch through and open up through here. And of course the higher you bring the knees up, the more of a deeper stretch you're getting into that lower back. Next we want to impact movement into the hip joints. It's really common for a lot of people when you're doing this movement that it's going to click and crunch as you're moving the hips through. It just shows the tightness into the hips, possibly a little bit of tenderness and tightness around your hip flexors, which is why we're going to stretch them out later. So we're looking for quality, not quantity, with this hip movement, aiming for 10 circles in one way, 10 circles the other way, or you can time it for about 15 to 30 seconds, just adding in that really nice movement. And again, you're building the range up over time, so don't force it. You're building it up gently over time, and again it's just getting you to stretch and move through all of the joints and the muscles that you've used when you've been running to reduce the risk of injury. Next we want to move into a figure 4 stretch. So again, this is a great way to twist and stretch down through that lower back, into the glute, down into the leg, into the chest as well, as you're letting the arm drop outwards. So you want to hold this for about 15 to 30 seconds and then switching the other side. So again, you can see you're hooking the foot behind the back of the knee, you're letting the arm on the opposite side drop out, and you're looking towards the arm that's dropping out, and you're pulling the knee across the body to exaggerate that stretch. So a great way to open up into the lower back. Next, we're going to enhance the piriformis stretch, so we're going to just increase that even more, moving on from what we did with pigeon. So again, the first step is to just have the leg across the other leg. If you need a bit more of a stretch, you can put your hands underneath the knee and pull it towards you. So again, holding this for about 15 to 30 seconds, and then we're going to switch to move to the opposite side as well. So again, this first stage, the beginner stage, is just letting the leg drop outwards, but for a lot of people that's going to be too easy, so you want to reach through, hold behind the knee and pull it up towards you. Again, you should be feeling this stretch into the hips, around the glutes, and particularly across that piriformis, which is the band-like muscle across the glutes area. Once you've done this, we then want to exaggerate and improve that mobility and reduce that stiffness into the upper back. So you can grab a rolled up towel or a yoga mat. You're going to have the arms up to the side, either out straight or slightly bent at the elbow. And you're going to place the towel so it's in between the shoulder blades on the spine. So you can see here it's stretching up into my ribs, it's extending into that upper back, and it's a great way to improve that mobility. And then finally, we want to do a lovely hip flexor stretch. So again, you're lunging forward, should be feeling it around the front of the leg that's around the back, so the one that's being stretched, not the one that's bent at 90, and then switching sides. So again, you're lunging forward, it would be feeling it in the leg that's closest towards the camera here, aiming between 15 to 30 seconds, and repeating this routine after running.